Hello, and welcome to Beyond Discovery. Let's play a game. The sun disappears. What happens next? Let's see how many you can get right. A. Earth freezes instantly. B. The entire planet explodes. Circa absolutely nothing. Or D. Your Monday morning meeting finally gets cancelled. Honestly, I'd choose D, unfortunately. The universe has other plans. The correct answer is actually circa for the next 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Nothing changes. Not a single thing. Sounds impossible? Let's find out why. Right now, the sunlight shining through your window didn't leave the sun a second ago. It left more than 8 minutes ago. Light is incredibly fast. It travels at almost 300,000 kilometers every second. That's fast enough to circle Earth more than 7 times in just 1 second. And yet, even light needs over 8 minutes to reach us. So imagine this. The sun disappears completely. No explosion. No warning. No dramatic movie soundtrack. Just gone. But on Earth? People keep driving to work. Children keep complaining about school. Someone is still waiting for their food delivery, wondering why it's taking so long. Trust me, losing the sun is terrifying. Waiting for your food might still feel worse. Everything continues as if nothing happened. Because technically, nothing has happened. Yet. Then, exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds later, the last ray of sunlight arrives. And suddenly, daytime ends. Not like a sunset. Not like an eclipse. Just darkness. Imagine someone switching off the biggest light bulb in the universe. That's what Earth would experience. The blue sky disappears. The moon disappears too. Because the moon doesn't make its own light. It's basically borrowing sunlight. No sun. No reflected light. No glowing moon. Instead, the sky fills with stars. Thousands of them. Maybe millions. It would be one of the most beautiful skies humanity has ever seen. Which is ironic, considering it would also be one of the worst days in human history. People everywhere would stop. Cars would pull over. Phones would come out immediately. The internet? Total chaos. What is happening? Is this real? Did someone accidentally unplug the sun? If only it were that simple. Astronomers would understand the truth almost instantly. And imagine being the scientist who has to announce it. Good evening, everyone. So, we have some bad news. The sun is gone, and no, we can't restart it. Probably the shortest scientific meeting ever. But here's another surprise. Earth wouldn't immediately become an ice planet. Movies love showing people freezing within minutes. Reality is much less dramatic. Our oceans store enormous amounts of heat. The land stores heat. Even the atmosphere stores heat. Think about a hot cup of coffee. Turn off the kettle. The coffee doesn't instantly become ice cold. It cools down slowly. Earth behaves in a similar way. During the first few hours, the temperature wouldn't change very much. Most people would still be alive. Still confused. Still hoping someone had made a terrible mistake. Unfortunately, this isn't a mistake. Because the real danger hasn't even started yet. You see, the sun doesn't just give us light. It does something even more important. Something so powerful that every planet in our solar system depends on it. And when that disappears, Earth's greatest journey is about to begin. The sun doesn't just light up our world. It holds our entire solar system together. Sounds dramatic? Because it is. Let's ask another question. If the sun disappeared, would Earth simply stop and float there? No. Would Earth crash into another planet? Also no. So, what actually happens? Here's the crazy part. The moment the sun disappears, its gravity disappears too. Not instantly for us, but exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds later. Why? Because gravity, just like light, also travels at the speed of light. That means the instant Earth loses the sun's gravity, we're no longer orbiting anything. Imagine swinging a ball on the end of a string. As long as you're holding the string, the ball keeps moving in circles. Now cut the string. Does the ball keep spinning? No, it flies away. In a straight line. That's exactly what Earth would do. Our planet has been racing around the sun at nearly 107,000 kilometers per hour. The only reason we don't fly off into deep space is because the sun keeps pulling us inward. Take that pull away, and Earth becomes a lonely spaceship. Destination? Nobody knows. No map. No GPS. No gas station. And definitely no roadside assistance. Space is a terrible place to break down. As Earth drifts farther away, the sunlight is already gone. The sky stays black. Temperatures begin to fall. Not by a few degrees. By a lot. Within a week, the average temperature drops below freezing. Rivers begin to ice over. Lakes freeze. Plants stop growing. Because without sunlight, photosynthesis ends. No sunlight. No food. No oxygen being produced by plants. And that's only the beginning. Now imagine standing in the middle of a forest. Everything is silent. No birds. No insects. No wind in the trees. The world feels empty. It's not just humans struggling. Every living thing on Earth depends on the sun. Some directly. Some indirectly. Take away the sun, and the entire food chain begins to collapse. Even the oceans aren't safe. You might think, fish don't need sunlight, actually. Most ocean life depends on tiny organisms near the surface. Those organisms need sunlight to survive. When they disappear, everything above them slowly disappears too. Nature is like a giant tower of building blocks. Remove the bottom layer, and sooner or later, the whole thing comes crashing down. Of course, humans wouldn't give up immediately. We build underground shelters, massive bunkers, powered by nuclear reactors. Scientists would work day and night, trying to keep civilization alive. Would it work? For a while. Yes. For everyone? Not even close. And here's something people almost never think about. The night sky would become absolutely incredible. Without sunlight, the Milky Way would stretch across the sky every single day. The stars would be brighter than anything humans have ever seen. Beautiful. but heartbreaking. Because every shining star above you would remind you of the one we lost. And somehow, things are about to get even worse. Because freezing temperatures, a dark sky, and drifting through space still aren't the biggest problem. The biggest challenge is surviving what comes next. So, how long could humanity actually survive? A week? A month? A year? Believe it or not, the answer isn't as simple as you might think. Because humans are stubborn. Really stubborn. We've survived ice ages, volcanoes, asteroid impacts, and somehow, people still argue online about pineapple on pizza. So yes, we'd fight to survive this too. At first, massive underground shelters would become humanity's best chance. Powered by nuclear reactors, these underground cities could provide heat, electricity, and maybe even enough food to keep thousands of people alive. Scientists would immediately start growing crops indoors. Not with sunlight, but with powerful artificial lights. Would vegetables taste the same? Probably. Would they cost a fortune? Absolutely. Imagine paying $50 for a single tomato. Actually, don't give supermarkets any ideas. But here's the problem. Keeping a few thousand people alive is one thing. Keeping 8 billion alive? That's impossible. Sooner or later, food becomes the biggest enemy. Not the cold. Not the darkness. Hunger. History has shown us something interesting. Civilizations rarely collapse because of one disaster. They collapse because one problem creates another, then another, and another. Without sunlight, farms fail. Without farms, food disappears. Without food, everything else begins to fall apart. Then, there's the atmosphere. Trees stop producing oxygen. The good news? We already have enough oxygen to survive for a very long time. So don't worry. You're not going to run out of air next Tuesday. The bad news? Everything else is still getting worse. Year after year, the oceans slowly freeze. Not just the surface. Eventually, hundreds of meters deep, only tiny pockets of liquid water would remain, far below the ice. Ironically, some forms of life might survive there. Microbes, strange organisms, creatures living near deep-sea volcanic vents. Life always finds a way, even if humanity doesn't. Now here's a question. Would Earth become completely frozen forever? Not exactly. Deep inside our planet, there's still heat. The Earth's core is incredibly hot. That geothermal energy could keep small underground habitats alive for centuries. Maybe longer. But life on the surface? It would never be the same again. Cities would become frozen monuments. Forests would turn into icy skeletons. Entire oceans. Silent. Still. Dark. Earth would continue drifting through the galaxy. A lonely planet. Searching for a sun it would never find again. Kind of like losing your phone. Except instead of your phone, you lost the star that made life possible. Slightly worse. So, could humanity survive? Maybe. Could civilization survive? Probably not. Could Earth ever return to normal? Only if another star somehow captured our planet. And the chances of that happening are so unbelievably small that winning the lottery every single day for the rest of your life would still be more likely. Which brings us to one final thought. Every sunrise you've ever ignored, every warm afternoon, every sunny day you wished was colder, exists because of one ordinary-looking star. The sun. It may not feel special, because it's always been there. But without it, everything you know, everything you love, everything alive, would disappear. Maybe that's why the universe keeps reminding us. Never take the ordinary things for granted. Because one day, you might realize they were extraordinary all along. If you enjoyed today's journey, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Beyond Discovery, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next adventure. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next adventure.